A grand jury indicted Daniel Penny, the Marine veteran who stopped a crazy homeless man from harming women and children on a New York train. This case is obviously driven by race. We'll get into the specifics and talk about why. Then, a school in Massachusetts, a bunch of middle schoolers tear down rainbow decor and chant their pronouns are USA. So, is this backing the proof that America is getting more socially conservative? Then lastly, a white Starbucks worker is rewarded $25 million in a discrimination case. I'm Solo, this is the Solo Show. So, Daniel Penny has been indicted for second-degree manslaughter, and if you aren't familiar with the case, Jordan Neely, who is the homeless man, suffered from mental illness and had a long history of violent attacks on subway riders. He stormed onto the train on May 1st at the 2nd Avenue station in Manhattan, and about 2:30 p.m. started screaming and threatening passengers. Penny then reportedly, which is the veteran, approached Neely from behind, wrapped his arm around Neely and around Neely's neck, dragged him to the floor as two other men helped restrain him until he went limp. Several minutes of the fatal encounter were captured by cell phone video, prompting outrage and widespread protests. Neely's death was ultimately ruled a homicide, which basically means that he died of something other than natural causes. Penny faces a maximum of 5 to 15 years in prison if convicted on one account of second-degree manslaughter. And this is just a case that's widely bizarre. So we have two things. First, we have a man that was let out of jail and isn't in jail after he had 42 prior arrests. And he's assaulted people before on the train station. So it is absolutely insane to me that the New York criminal justice system will go after Donald Trump. They'll go after people, but when people are assaulting people, I'm assuming the prior arrest, majority of them were the assaults, and he's just allowed to walk free, and then stuff like this happens. The second thing that's wild about this is it sets a precedent that if you're a good guy stopping a bad guy and protecting women and children, you can go to jail for being a good Samaritan. And if you look at the media around that time, there was wide outrage because they seen a white man and a black man and a white man killing a black man, automatically started talking about racism. And when the media depicted Jordan Neely, which is the homeless man, they showed pictures of him from 2009, I think, of him in like a Michael Jackson outfit, looking super innocent. But that wasn't who Jordan Neely was. Jordan Neely was the 42 arrest and the serial assaulter on the subway station. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. And a very similar case to this would be George Floyd and the Derek Chauvin case. Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. George Floyd overdosed on fentanyl, and that's what was the cause of his death. The coroner confirmed that. But instead, Derek Chauvin was thrown to the mob and basically tore up from that, and now he's serving life in prison. And this is where the criminal system is going. This is where the media is going. They're going to prosecute the white man because that is the most evilest thing you could be in America, to the left. And then whoever's harmed by them, they're going to say that they were innocent, they didn't do anything wrong. And you see this in plenty of the police shootings where there's a bunch of protests and outbursts. I mean, it is absolutely incredible on how the criminal justice system is working. So New York has lost their mind, but it seems like a younger generation is wiser. As a middle school in Massachusetts, give me one sec. So students at a Boston area middle school were accused of homophobia and intolerance by education officials after they tore down rainbow decorations and chanted that USA was their pronouns during displays of intolerance and homophobia. So students at Marshall Simmons Middle School in Burlington were invited to wear rainbow-colored clothing on June 2nd in celebration of Pride Month. On the same day, there were a counter-demonstration in response to what should have been a day to celebrate. Students wore red, white, and blue clothing, chanted, "My pronouns are USA," and assured rainbow decorations at the school. Nancy Bonacera, co-chair of Burlington Equity Coalition, said during Monday's select board meeting, "These displays of intolerance and homophobia are unacceptable and impact the community," she said. The controversy began when the school's LGBTQ student organization invited students to wear pride colors and handed out rainbow stickers, the Boston Globe reported. A letter from the school administrators to parents said that some of the students were chanting USA are my pronouns and had intimidated students supporting the event. I want to publicly state that I stand for solidarity and support of the members of the LGBTQ community who were impacted by these events, said Principal Carrie Purchase. Wrote in the joint letter with the superintendent, Eric Conti, I'm truly sorry that a day meant for you to celebrate your identity turned into a day of intolerance. Select board member Michael said, a bad light has been cast over our town. He told reporters, I was very upset. I've slept over it. He said about the incident, it shocked me to my core. I didn't think something like this could happen in Burlington. Look, this is absolutely insane. It's quite funny that these adults were freaking out and losing sleep over this. It's showing that these kids don't want to celebrate Pride. They don't want this agenda basically shoved down their throats at every aspect in their life. And basically, conservatives used to be, like, I don't care what you're doing as long as you're not impacting my life. You do whatever you want. And what that spiraled into was it basically coming in affect every aspect of our lives. And I mean, it is incredible. Like, this is a school, this is a public school. Stuff like this shouldn't be taught. It should be strictly, teaching stuff, simple math, English, history. It's not supposed to teach kids ideologies. That's for the parents to decide. But, I mean, now you're seeing people protest and counter-protest against it. You have these kids. You have people boycotting Target, Bud Light, Disney. So this brings me to the question, Americans at least, are becoming more socially conservative? So this is according to Gallup, social conservatism in the U.S., highest in about a decade. So more Americans this year say they are very conservative or conservative on social issues than said so in 2022. Then said so in 2022, 33%, and 2021, 30%. At the same time, percentage saying their social views are very liberal or liberal has dipped to 29% from 34% in each of the past 2 years, while the portion identifying as moderate, 31% remains near a third. The last time this many Americans said they were socially conservative was 2012, during a period when consistently more U.S. adults have identified as conservatives rather than liberal on social issues. And I would say that this is coming into effect because of the acceptance that there was. We said, you do whatever you want to do, just leave me out of it, leave my kids out of it. But now, you see it everywhere you go. Every corporation celebrating Pride Month. You have public schools teaching about a bunch of these ideologies. And this is causing people who aren't even right-wing to be considered right-wing. People like Joe Rogan and Bill Maher, the left constantly calls them right-wingers, even though they're really moderates. But I believe it's called the Overton window, where basically, like, socially, the box of moderate moves left and right. And right now, the leftists are going so far left that the box is staying in the middle. And so whoever's in that middle are going to be called right-wingers. And, it is just absolutely insane. And I think Americans are starting to wake up to this and actually stop it. So up next, we have a Starbucks worker. She wins $25 million in a lawsuit after a jury agrees Starbucks fired her for being white. Let's see. So a Starbucks regional manager won $25.6 million Friday after she was accused the corporation of firing her for being white. And, basically what happened was Phillips, which was the woman's last name, who worked for Starbucks for 13 years and oversaw roughly 100 cafes, was fired less than a month after Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson were arrested at Spruce Street store on April 12th, 2018 for refusing to leave a table. The two men basically said, two black men basically said they were waiting for a business associate. They asked them to leave. Philadelphia police came, arrested them, and Phillips was not present. So this woman was just oversaw the store, and she was told, let me find it right here. So, let me see, that the company was looking for a sacrificial lamb to show was taking action after the arrest because there was major public outrage that 2 black men were arrested at Starbucks. Phillips said she was beloved by her colleagues and that her termination, which came out of the blue, was likely due to the color of her skin. This was all about appearance, the optics of what they did. Her lawyer said, according to Law 360, if Shannon Phillips is black, does it play out like this? The case is about Starbucks and self-preservation. And basically, yeah, Starbucks threw her out to the mob, or Starbucks caved into the mob and basically threw her out to the wolves. They basically said, look, we're going to fire this white woman to show that they're taking accountability. And of course, this is not it. And so I want to see more Americans taking this, In America right now, corporations, the government, universities are openly discriminatory towards white people. You see that in affirmative action. You see that in job qualification in civil cases. It is absolutely insane how much they're getting away with discriminating white people because of the color of their skin. Because they think all white people are racist. They think all white people are against them. They think the system is made for white people, so instead they'll openly discriminate them. I mean, it is absolutely crazy, and I hope a lot more people like Phillips sues these corporations, the universities, these governmental positions for stuff like this. That's all I have for today, guys. Just go ahead and leave a like, share, subscribe, and also leave some feedback. Leave some tips on how I could probably format my script a little bit better to make it sound like it comes out more fluent and ease. And yeah, I would really appreciate the tips. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be debunking gun control and going over the conservative view on it, the history view on it, and why gun control doesn't work. And then Saturday I'm going to be starting my biblical series where I'm going to be first talking about, I don't really know how I'm going to format it. I think I'm going to start with the importance of a God. And yeah, it's going to be starting Saturday. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night.